This is Seahawks Stories, 50th Season Edition, presented by Emerald City Athletics.
We've been telling stories all year long, celebrating 50 seasons of Seahawks football. We've been finding as many of the 50 greatest players in Seahawks history as we can. And this, I think, might be the first time we are releasing an episode with the story celebrating an anniversary. Jordan Babineaux, do you know what happened on this date 20 years ago?
Wow. 20 years ago. Jen, you're starting to age me.
Or I am pointing out how legendary you are because people in Seattle still know you as Big Play Babs.
I love this city. Seattle's been good to me. And to think back that here we are 20 years later having this iconic moment of what was one of the biggest moments, certainly in my career, but also in this organization's, franchise existence, because, that run, that time, that window of playoffs that we were on when we were like really, really good. Coach Holmgren's legacy, Seattle always being the underdog, the team that couldn't win the big game. I mean, we went on to really catapult this organization to do something really special. And now looking back, hindsight, it's been a hell of a run for a long time.
Indeed, it has been. So we've given the folks at home a chance to think back and try to remember, because you've had a number of big plays. But what was that play 20 years ago, Babs?
It was the Tony Romo botch snap wild card playoff crazy. I don't. It was crazy episode of the wild card because a lot of crazy things happen in wild card. That being one of them. But the Tony Romo botch snap, when I chased him down from the backside and clipped him just short of not just getting a touchdown, but getting a first down to help us seal and advance in the playoffs. What a time.
I mean, you were just at that point in time, you're just trying to track him down and make the play. But at what point did you realize that was it? Like, he was short of the first down and that was it.
Well, I looked at the ref. It happened so fast. And I'll walk you through it. I mean, we're lining up. Here we are. We stopped him on third down. Big tackle, gang tackle. We stopped Jason Witten just inches before he got the first down. They line up for the go-ahead field goal with 80 seconds left in the game, 70 seconds left in the game. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, we got just enough time for Hasselbeck and Holmgren to put something together, go down and still give us a chance to win a football game. And lo and behold, he snapped that ball. Grammatica fumbled it. And I'll tell you, it really was an oh shit moment for me. It was, because I was like, I knew if I didn't get him that they would get me, because my butt would be fired because that was purely my responsibility. And so I come upfield and saw the botch snap, and it was hurdling the kicker, chasing down Tony Romo before he ran into the end zone. And what an eruption. I mean, the crowd went crazy. The energy was throughout the team, and certainly it produced another jolt of confidence for us collectively.
Well, and it probably also had like an element of disbelief as you're seeing that play out, because we just assume that exchange is automatic, right? And also, by the way, quarterbacks no longer hold for these sorts of things. We actually have a holder. The punter does that now. But like we just assume that that's so automatic. It probably takes you just a half second to realize what you just saw.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, the length of a field goal, an extra point. Well, not today's extra points, but now I'm really dating myself. Back when I played, extra points were like 19 yards. I mean, here we are, and they're like 35-yard kicks now. But I think that, again, that time right there was so pivotal to launching the success of this organization. And again, not that play, catapulted, the organization over the hump, but it certainly was part of, that body of work that gave this organization confidence. And even from a national perspective, Jen, I mean, Seattle was always the forgotten franchise. I mean, again, we were the team that almost won. We went from the team that almost went into the team that believed we could, and certainly, going to the first playoffs in 2005, the playoff run with Coach Holmgren, taking a step back through transition with Coach Carroll and Holmgren's last year, and then Pete Carroll now, really sealing the deal, and where we are now with Coach McDonald. It's good. It's getting good.
Well, but for you personally, this was part of, this is your legacy, right? I mean, you are big play Babs. There was a couple other plays that happened in the years right around them that helped to solidify that. But before I ask you about those questions, you were just telling me that you have seen Tony Romo recently.
Yeah.
Have you two ever talked about that play? You had to have, right? He had to know it's you.
Yeah. So two, I won't say awkward moments, but they were like, "Hi, Tony," kind of like that. "Hi, Tony." It's like, and he's like, looked at me like, "You been haunting me for years." So the first was, we were at the NFL Honors Super Bowl weekend, and I was doing the red carpet, and Romo was coming up. I was like, "Oh, get him! I want this interview." So that was the first awkward moment too. And
you created the awkward moment.
I did because it was fun. Yeah, I mean, sure. Like, what competitor who doesn't who don't see their rivals in the off season go back and have conversations and talk about those moments, because it's the thing that separates us, but it's also the things that unites us. Mm-hmm. And so that competitive bond, that spirit, it exists. It lives there. But, you got to bubble, you got to let it rise a little bit. So here we are. That was the first awkward moment with Super Bowl on the red carpet, and I had to interview him for the award show. And then recently, I haven't seen him since then. But we know a lot of, people, like, we've been adjacent, pretty close. So my recent interaction with him was at a golf tournament in Alabama, and we were competitors in this field, right? It's the best of hockey, baseball, football, basketball, and tennis. Well, Marty Fish is the only tennis player, so he's representing well. And so we're competing for this. It's a prize. It's a real tournament, like 3-day event. And so after the first day, I wasn't satisfied. I go to the driving range, and guess who's on the driving range in the corner? Had a jumbo-sized bucket of balls. It was Tony Romo, and I said, "Huh. Should I bother him, or should I know he?" So he was grinding it out a little bit, So I go over, and we have a lot of conversation. But the funny thing, it was mostly about golf, because this guy, he loves to compete. He's pretty competitive, but he's also good at golf. We had more golf conversation than we had football conversation, so I felt like it kind of reduced the tension a little bit, Jen. Let's just keep it about golf. In
your mind, it does.
Yeah,
in Tony's, he's still bubbling up. That is still a play that it makes me smile every time.
I'll have to send you the photo that we took too. He's kind of like that awkward. He has that awkward smile. Like, I don't want to take a picture, but I'll take a picture. I'll send it to you. Okay. We'll share it with the viewers.
Okay.
And the listeners.
Well, we will share that one with you. But now I want to back up just a little bit, because I think the first play that earned you that big play Babs moniker, it was a year before, also against the Cowboys. That was an interception of Drew Bledsoe. Once you have that kind of that inkling that this is like your persona on the field, do you feel pressure to keep that up?
It was exciting. And I can't tell you how exciting it was. I think I was probably, I was young. You got to think about it. My road to the NFL was Division II undrafted. So, everything was like, I'm here to, not make friends. I'm here to cause havoc, from special teams to, any few snaps that I get on, on defense, to just being remembered. And, there were a few moments when in the fourth quarter with the game on the line that, I made some big plays, and, that being one of them. And certainly, looking back, that 2005 season where we went 13-3, our first trip to the Super Bowl, that was the game that's most remembered. And I've seen Coach Holmgren since then, and he points out specifically that game. as one of his highlights as a coach for the Seahawks, because again, it gave us the confidence in knowing that we can compete at that level. It gave us the ability, for us to go out and just let it loose. And again, it really did. That window really did, in my opinion, change the trajectory and the identity of how people saw us too, because we weren't the team that was just, remembered for the wild card game in Green Bay with Hasselbeck and the coin toss, or we weren't the team that almost won. We were the team that believed we could, and it really shifted the national perspective of how people saw the Seahawks.
Well, and it had to be validating for you. I mean, you mentioned that you're undrafted. You're from Port Arthur, Texas. Now, football in Texas is big, but Port Arthur is not the biggest city in the state of Texas, right? And so there had been a grind for you personally to get to this point.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time somebody said to you, hey, I know you can make the big play, or even just called you big play Babs?
Yeah. I would say it happened before I even got to the NFL. So here's the story. Going into my senior year at Southern Arkansas, I called my brother. My brother played ball at Iowa. He was a Hawkeye. Kirk Ferentz, Division I, all of the resources, and they had top talent. I mean, Robert Gallery, Bob Sanders, Clark, the tight end, Dallas Clark. They had the talent. I called my brother going into my senior year. His name is Jonathan, but I call him Monster because growing up he was always larger than the other kids. So I call him. I say, Monster, if there's ever a chance for me to play at the next level, I need to find out if I can compete and play, at that level. This is where the NFL is coming to recruit and get guys from. Can you just do me one favor? Can you ask your coach if I can come work out and train with you guys during the summer? He said, little brother, I got you. No sooner than later, I found myself on my brother's couch, sometimes on the floor, chasing this dream. And when I got there, what I realized was I was just as fast, just as strong, if not faster and stronger than those guys. That was, to me, the start of what I knew I could do. That year, I go back to Southern Arkansas. I make All-American, Division II Player of the Year, played in the Division II All-Star game, worked out in front of maybe 18 teams, and had one scout come to Southern Arkansas, to Magnolia, Arkansas, to watch me train from the Detroit Lions. I had one organization fly me out for a visit. I mean, this hadn't been done, I wouldn't say in the school history, but it was rare, very, very rare. And so, that sometimes just that little glimpse of success, or just the ability to know that you're performing at this level and you have what it takes. I mean, sometimes that's all it takes to really make that come to life.
So you have these glimmers of hope, and you have this belief in yourself, but you go undrafted. How long did it take for the Seahawks to call you?
Matter of fact, I think they called me in the middle of the late rounds. I can't remember specifically, a 6th or 7th. And I got a call from Ray Bob. Coach Ray Rhodes was the defensive coordinator at the time. And if anybody know Coach Ray Bob, I've talked to him. He kind of talked like this. Hey, Babineaux, yeah, just want to let you know now. You high up on our board now. We're gonna take you. We're thinking about taking you. But if we don't now, you're a priority for us. I was like, okay, that sounds exciting. What does that even mean? So they called me late in the draft that was ending, and they called me a priority free agent, meaning that they would sign me as an undrafted free agent, bring me in a camp, and of course, that means, making a team and proving yourself and that sort of thing. But Jen, that didn't matter to me. All I needed was a chance. And, I got that chance with Seattle, and I get here, and I was number 43 as a cornerback. Guys don't remember that. I was number 43 when I first got here. And that first mini camp, I was doing what was natural to me, making plays, learning the defense, being vocal, all of the things. And I had a pretty good camp. Well, I come back to training camp, and there and behold, I looked in my locker. I was number 27. I was like, oh, boy. We got some action right here. So I go, and I'll never forget, I go into EK's room, EK, our equipment manager. I said, EK, 27? He said, all right, now, Babs, you know what the NFL stands for? Not for long. All right, okay. You're right. Focus. And, again, but it was always about, certainly joy to 43, 23, 27. And I just was grateful to have a number, but it really meant more so every day, strapping up, proving myself, making a team, earning my value, not really caring about making friends and competing at the highest level.
But somebody did befriend you, right? You had teammates who helped you. Who kind of said, hey, Babs, look, I know you're doing your thing, but let me just put my arms around you. Let me take you under my wing. Here's how we do it here.
Yeah.
Who did that?
Yeah, that rookie for me, that veteran for me, my rookie season was Bobby Taylor. And we had a young secondary. So Marcus Trufant, Ken Hamlin, they were just second-year players. They were first and second-round picks in 2003. And we needed a veteran presence. Well, Bobby Taylor was one of those signings. I mentioned Ray Rhodes was the defensive coordinator. He coached Bobby in Philadelphia. BT comes here, and he takes me under his wing and, just kind of just level things out for me. This is how you be a pro. This is how you take care of your body. These are the things to look for. And, to this day, in fact, I think I saw him at the last Super Bowl. But, yes, still grateful for, that veteran who, put his hand on my shoulder and said, hey, you got what it takes. I believe in you. Here's a few things that'll help you become a better professional.
Who gets credit for teaching you just how to be around the ball and the importance of being around the ball?
Yeah. I wouldn't. I guess as what comes to mind is that it was a knack for being around the ball. But when you hustle to the ball, good things happen. Period. I think the person who kind of like really labeled it was Coach Carroll. All about the ball. I'll never forget my first interview with Coach Carroll. He was just hired as the head coach. And he brought me into his office, and we were watching film together. And he saw me lined up, and he said, "Bab, what are you looking at right here?" I said, "Coach, I'm looking at my keys. I'm looking at the end man of the line of scrimmage." I think he might have asked me, like, what's the most important thing on the field, or something to that extent. It's like he was getting at my eyes were in the wrong place. I should be focused on the ball. Okay. Like even in snapping the ball, it's watching the ball and then going to your keys, right? And that's the read of the defense that puts me in position to get in the position to make the play. But I would say Coach Carroll labeled it. But it's when you get around the ball, good things happen. The ball is the bag of money. I'm telling you, you get the ball, you get the money. Right? Interceptions, touchdowns, turnovers, forced fumbles, sacks, tackles. The ball, that's the money. Mm-hmm. So whoever has the ball is running with the money bag. And so we used to kind of always joke around that and kind of have that chase, mm-hmm. so to speak.
Well, you did that to the point where you are one of the top 50 Seahawks players of all time. What was getting that call like?
It was, I guess for me, that's a long journey, Jen. And, to be honored and recognized, there's been a lot of really good players that have come through these doors, a lot of great teammates. And, just to be nominated as, one of the top 50 players was an honor. And I enjoyed every moment of it. Like, you can't talk about the Jordan Babineaux story without mentioning the Seattle Seahawks. It's part of who I am. It's part of my legacy. I've built some strong relationships here. Within this organization and certainly within this community, and extremely, extremely grateful to have had, that one player. Actually, I'm gonna back up because I'll give you a better story. It is a better story, but I'll give you I'll give you where it all started. There was this, and how I got the call from Seattle. There was a scout for the Green Bay Packers, and Hightower. He was on Pete's staff for a few years as a consultant, and he called Ray Rhodes and said, "Hey, I got this young kid out of Texas. You might like him, and we can't take him. We don't have room for him." And just the conversation between him and Coach Rhodes about bringing me in, and this being this likable kid who has some talent, played at a smaller school, but I think he can compete at the next level. That was the impetus of the finding this needle in the haystack, Jordan Babineaux, who might turn out to be something great. We don't know. We'll put him in the fire and see what happens. And I had those conversations with Ray Rhodes when I first got here. Again, we were over in Kirkland. He bring me into his office and he said, "Now, hey, I stood on the table for you. Okay, they didn't want to take you. They didn't want to bring you in. I'm just not." He was that blunt and direct with me. He's like, they didn't want to bring you in, but I stood on the table for you because I believe in you. And I don't know whether he liked me because I was from Texas or I was a country boy that had a lot of grit or all of the other intangibles that went along with it. You know what? I'm going to make you right. And we're in this together. And I'll never forget, I would be the first one in the building and sometimes the last one to leave because Ray Rhodes and I started the Breakfast Club, but we created the Breakfast Club. And if I was lifting weights at 7 o'clock on the practice squad, we were in there watching film at 5:30, 6 o'clock, starting our day in the dark. No one there, 3 people in the room. And oftentimes it was me, Coach Rhodes, and Michael Bower. And we were, 2 young pups trying to make a name for ourselves and learn this game. So the impetus of Jordan Babineaux dates back to this conversation of this football family that exists and how small of a sports community it actually is. And one conversation led to the next for them to take a chance on me. Crazy.
Your football legacy is cemented. It's in the books. What is left to add to your overall legacy? What are you doing now?
Right now, I've transitioned. I've pivoted quite a bit.
That's a shout out, actually, for his book. If you have not already purchased Pivot to Win, it's available.
Thank you, Jen. But now I've I've worked with this organization many times. I think maybe close to 20 years, maybe about 17 or 18 years in different roles. 7 as a player, 10 on a broadcast team, maybe 12 on a broadcast team. Did some consulting with the front office. And so I got a chance to really put my hands in a few different areas in learning, off the field sports business, and that's been a phenomenal experience. And since I've transitioned into working with organizations and CEOs to help them adapt the elite athletes' mindset so that they can build higher impact, high resilient teams, competitive teams within their organizations around a shared purpose. I'm on a mission to align all of the things that made me great on the field and intersect that with the business world. Because one thing that I know is that in building championship teams and building, high-powered, high-efficient teams within organizations, there's an intersection. And between sports and businesses invest in sports. And we collectively can build and create better teams and build thriving communities together. And I just love that. I love that story. I love that intersection between sports and business.
And just seeing what high performers can do when we all put our minds together. We can have conversations just like this one. In his own words, it is Jordan Babineaux. Big play, Babs, as we continue to celebrate 50 seasons of Seahawks football. Thank you, Babs.
Thank you.